I'm gonna start by telling a pretty tragic story. So, my first, like, fully functioning laptop that I used throughout middle school and high school was, I think, a 2009 MacBook, and it was that white plastic one that I used for everything. I was playing The Sims 3 on it, it had a CD drive, it would easily overheat. I would write essays on it for school, and Microsoft Word would like force quit and lose all of my all of my progress. Um, and I carried it through many years, but eventually it just would freeze, and I couldn't power it off until I manually like took the battery out of it. But it was also well loved. I bought a sticker of like Snow White to hold the apple on the outside. I bought stickers to cover the keyboard, and they looked like Lego pieces, and it held a lot of memories. But eventually, when it stopped working and I got a new laptop, I didn't see how it could function for anyone else, and I just put it in the recycling. And to this day, I like still mourn that loss, and I really regret doing it. So if you take anything from this video, let it be to think twice before throwing out technology that is well loved, because you might actually be able to use it again, and you might actually be able to make it work for someone else. So with that, this is obviously not the laptop that I had, but a relative of mine was moving away and had actually two old MacBooks, and he gave me both of them just to see what I could do. And it's been a lot of fun to upgrade these, so I wanted to give a little tour. So this here is a 2008 MacBook Pro. I think the model number is like 5,1. So they didn't even start describing it in years yet. And it has a CD drive and all these beautiful ports. I put some covers, some dust plugs, but these are two USB ports, headphone port, microphone port. This was for like a mini, I think it's like a mini CD. This is like an Ethernet cable. This is the charging. Some other thing. But one of the most beautiful parts of this laptop, I'll show you, is that you could easily upgrade the parts and replace parts if you needed to. It's not like this closed off ecosystem that we have today with Apple. So you see this little latch here? Oh, if you just pull it up, boom. Okay, this is where you could replace the battery. This is where you could upgrade the storage. So you'll notice I upgraded it from an HDD to a Samsung SSD. And originally, this laptop I think only had like 50 gigabytes of storage. So I gave it, you know, a cool 500. And then if you wanted to close it, boom, so beautiful. And what's more, actually, is that if you undo the screws, which I'm gonna do right now, this takes a lot out of me. I will say that it is hard to find good battery replacements for this model because it is a bit more outdated. And like I bought one, I think I could only find one on AliExpress, which I normally don't rely on for electronic parts. And sure enough, the battery gave out on me. So I actually use this more as a desktop because it only works when it's plugged in. So if you undo these other screws, you can see more of what's inside, and I'll just do it. Boom. You could replace the RAM like a toy, okay? This is the CD drive. These are the fans. Speakers are underneath. So the way I upgraded this laptop is replacing the battery didn't really work out, but upgraded the storage to an SSD. I think I had to replace one of the fans, and I upgraded the RAM from 2 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes. Okay, that's 2 to the third power. Just saying. Okay, now I need to put all this back. And you might be wondering, oh, how did you learn how to replace all these parts? Those look like a lot of wires. Guys, everything is on YouTube. Anything. So, as I mentioned, there were actually 2 MacBooks given to me, and I'll show you. This is the other one. This is a 2010 MacBook Pro, and I'll also show you it has a CD drive, and this one actually has an SD card slot, 2 USB ports, headphone jack, Ethernet cable, and then this and this. I once again don't know. These are the charging ports. So beautiful, so sleek. Never gonna have anything like this again. And yeah, actually, let me show you the inside of this one. So this one is already a little harder to open because it's all screws, but not impossible. Alright, I'm in. There are a little more screws involved to replace certain parts, but you still have battery you could swap out, storage you could upgrade, the RAM never gets old, unless you're living today. And this is a fan, and this is the disk drive. So I replaced every part here. I even replaced the speaker that blew out. And what's special about this laptop and the way I upgraded it, I figured I would give this one to my mom because she was used to using a tablet, but I thought she deserved more, and I was able to upgrade the RAM here from 4 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. Okay, that's 4 to the second power. And I not only upgraded the storage from I think 128 to 500, but I added even more storage because she said she didn't really need the disk drive. So I used an old SHD, I think, from an old PC laptop I had, which was 500 gigabytes. And now this laptop technically has a terabyte of storage. And this baby's from 2010. Like, don't knock it, guys. Don't throw stuff out, please. I also used one of the USB ports to use a USB mouse, and my mom uses it regularly. So even if you don't think you can use it for yourself, I think someone in your life could really benefit. So for each laptop, I only paid around $100 to replace all those parts, including upgrading the storage, which to me is a lot better than buying a new laptop. So now you might be wondering, alright, you upgraded all the parts, but what about the operating system? Is it just as outdated? Can you browse the internet? Can you really do anything with it? And I'm here to show you a little something called opencore legacy patcher. I will admit it does take some time to power on. So this laptop was originally from Italy, and the keyboard just did not include any English words, and not even Italian words for like return and space and command or anything. So I just bought sticker covers for the needed keys, and I think it also just added a nice pop of color because I'm always extra like that and trying to decorate everything. So what are we running on? Oh, I'm sorry. What does that say? I'm running macOS Monterey on a 2008 MacBook Pro, okay? And it's all thanks to this application called opencore legacy patcher. And this program basically lets you upgrade the operating system of any legacy MacBook computer, even iMacs, and it'll patch it, root it, and allow the system to be updated to more modern operating systems. So because this model is from 2008, it has more outdated USB and Bluetooth compatibility, so I'm not actually able to run Sequoia on it because it would make my keyboard and mouse not function. If I did want to use it, I would have to plug in like a USB keyboard, and I just don't have one of those. But other than that, I'm able to use Firefox. I'm still making use of the disk drive. So right now I have the High School Musical soundtrack, and I'm planning on burning more CDs too. Don't come for me, Disney. I do have trouble watching Apple TV through the app, as well as using FaceTime and messages. But that's a trade-off I'm willing to accept. This is technically from 2008. And for this patcher to be open source and free, to be able to achieve all of this, I think is so worth it. I think it is so worth it. So my mom's laptop is also running on macOS Monterey, so I won't show you that again. But I will note that if you have a MacBook that is from 2012 or is newer, then you can very comfortably run macOS Sequoia. But it's more like pre-2012 MacBooks that are easier to run and easier to install Monterey on. And side note, do we remember when the logo had an LED and would light up when you used it? Don't you miss that? I miss it. So now you might be wondering, all right, you have a desktop MacBook Pro, you kind of upgraded it. Do you really use it, and what do you use it for? Well, thank you for asking. I found out that there is this application called deskflow, and it allows me to use one keyboard and one mouse across my desktops. So I changed the orientation of the video a little bit. So this here is my Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5, I think. And this is what I record on. This is what I use for school. I game on it. I do everything on it. And now that I have this basically second monitor that is on macOS, I use deskflow to use my mouse. Okay, I'm moving it on one side of my screen now, and then it seamlessly moves onto the other screen. So right now I set my Lenovo keyboard as my main keyboard, but usually I have these screens switched. This is just for the sake of the video. So say I pull up the deskflow website, and I want to load it on my other screen, and I'm just going to highlight it, right click, copy, and then go back to my other screen, and I'm going to hit paste and go. Boom. I could do the same thing by pressing copy, so Control C, coming back here, and I can press Command V here, or if I was just using one keyboard the whole time, I could press Windows V, and it'll do the same thing. So I use it mostly to read articles when I'm writing essays so that I just have more space. And if I want to play media on one computer and do work on the other, or use one computer for texting, then it's pretty seamless. So as per usual, I'll include the links to any guides I followed in the description. If you have an old computer laying around at home, I highly encourage you to try this out. And until next time, thank you for watching.